right, welcome to the Kel and Coach Show. I'm your host, Kel Dansby, here with Coach Ben Conrad. It's been a while. I know you guys missed us here. Coach, let's dive right into it. Your last game, played KCK. Good matchup for you guys. You said this is going to be a tough three-game stretch. How did you guys get through it?
The KCK game, I thought our kids did a pretty good job defensively. They really followed the plan. We did a real good job on two of their guards. Did a good job on their bigs. I thought Polly and Kylie just did a tremendous job defensively against their post player. They got a real good post player over there. They had a kid that's scoring about 4 points a game that had a career night. But I think we had to pick our poison a little bit. And you hold a team that's averaging about 70 points a game or 68 points a game to 46. You're going to have a chance to win. So it was good. We played well, dominated the boards. I think we turned the ball over maybe 5 or 6 times the entire game. So just a clean game. I think offensively our team is really starting to come into its own.
Yeah, you said you preached taking away those mistakes every game. You pick out 5 mistakes to take away from. And you guys are starting to play clean basketball. And another game going back to is the Highland game. They came in number 4. The last time you guys played, it was kind of close. You played at Highland, though, the last time. Now they came here, 88-44. 3 players with 16 points. Explain what happened that game and how so much changed.
Honestly, I just think it was one of those nights. I think we adjusted our plan a little bit defensively. I thought we defended them extremely well. I just think, the other thing I think is this time of year, offensively we're developing. I mean, our team is really finding an identity, and they're becoming very comfortable with each other. And that's generally what happens with our teams when we get into February, is you start to see some real good flow offensively. We start looking like a really good passing team instead of a really bad passing team. First semester sometimes we don't look like we pass it that well, but a lot of it is just our offense and just learning how to use it. And when our teams start to figure out how to use our offense, they get to be pretty good. In the Highland game, we just shot it really well. It was just one of those nights. Things came together, things clicked, and we played extremely well. And I'm not sure we got Highland's best game. I don't think they weren't great that night. They're certainly capable of a better game, and we played awfully well. So we were fortunate, and it was fun. It was a fun night.
Yeah, you said you probably didn't get their best game, but you have to attribute that back to your team. It's hard playing here for other teams. It's hard enough to play you guys number 1 in nation on the road at their house. But they have to come here, and you guys can definitely get up on a team so fast that it kind of takes them out of their normal game plan. Now the team sits at 22-1, 11-0 in the conference. Halfway done, you have 7 more games to play. Before we get into some specifics of the upcoming games, with 7 games, what's the focus? It's coming down to crunch time. What is the team looking like right now, coming down the stretch?
Well, we're looking pretty good. I think we're fairly healthy. We've got all our parts, all the parts of our rotation are back and playing. We didn't have Kelsey Knox when we played at Highland, and we didn't have Kelsey Knox when we played KCK here, and she's our backup point guard and really adds depth and energy. She's a supercharger. I mean, you put her in a game, it's like just throwing the Energizer Bunny out there, and so we're healthy. And I just think, like I said, usually this time of year our team really starts to figure it out offensively. We become extremely difficult to guard, and when we do that, we're usually pretty tough to beat. Down the stretch, I just think it's nothing changes really. We just want to every day try to improve and not take any backward steps. And I think our kids are very mature. This is a mature team. We've had immature teams, believe me. We've had teams that we just they just didn't get it. This team really gets it. I think they understand the value of coming in and making sure our practices really mean something, making sure we get something out of every practice, even if it's not a long practice. I think we might have been on the floor yesterday for 70, 80 minutes, which isn't very long on the floor, but they're very intense while they're there, very focused while they're there, and that leads to improvement. And if you're improving a little bit every day throughout a long season, by the time you get to the end of the year, if you're doing it right, your team's pretty good. And so we just keep doing what we're doing. We just keep playing trying to play well, trying to be perfect, try to not make mistakes. This is the fun time of year. I mean, this is, I even relax a little bit. We go into the game, it's kind of like, I feel comfortable when our team gets to where we're right. And we've the last couple of years we've been right come February.
Yeah.
We get to that point where we're right, and I just feel good about it. I'm confident. I'm not as uptight on game day. I'm not as wound up when I show up for the game, and just kind of play ball. We're kind of becoming who we are, and we kind of are what we are, and I like who we are. So it's an exciting time of year.
Yeah, I talked to Amisha yesterday, and she was telling me about some of your drills in practice, and I told her I'd mentioned to you that rebounding drill. She said it's the hardest drill you guys do in practice. It's 4-on-4 rebounding. There's like a lid on the basket. Said they go for 8 minutes, and I told her, I was like, oh, so that's how Hollingsworth grabs 9 rebounds, and she's 5'1". The mystery is solved because of that drill. And she says that is the hardest drill you guys do in practice. But that's something she told me. She said, in practice, you have them play against men that come in there, and the sets they see, once they get to the game, it's not harder for them. It's just executing what they know already. Yeah. And that's a great part of your team. Nothing really surprises you guys. Coming down the stretch now, looking to your next game, Fort Scott is the next team up. Team, the first time that you beat pretty well. What do you expect this time from Fort Scott?
Well, it's like any conference game on the road. You know there's going to be challenges. You know there's going to be some adversity. You're going to have, their crowd's going to be on us a little bit. We know that the officials, anytime you go on the road, it always looks a little bit different than what it looks like at home. And what we tell our kids, and sometimes you're not going to shoot the ball as well on the road as you do at home. And so we talk to our kids from day one about, what we emphasize, the things that we value in our program, and the things that we value are the things we control. We can control the way we defend. We can control the way we rebound. We can control the way we value the basketball every possession. We make sure we're getting a shot off. We control how we go to the offensive glass, and we control, to an extent, we control what percentage of our misses we're going and getting on the offensive glass. We just go on the road and do the things we control, and usually when we do that, things work out. Fort Scott's, they're dangerous. I mean, they're going to defend you. They've got a couple really, really nice players. They've got some size. They're physical. They've always got a pretty good plan as far as how they're going to play you. So it's like any other night on the road in the league. You better be ready to go. We're going to go home with a loss.
Understandable, but so far you guys haven't lost in league play. Like I said, 7 league games left. Not to look too far ahead because, we have a couple more shows. But what game do you think in conference play from here on out can really test you guys? Maybe it's just a matchup, not even the best team. Maybe it's a certain night that you guys play coming off of something. Maybe it's, getting ready. Maybe it's the game right before the playoffs start and you have to go on the road. What game will really test your team and the team's character coming down the stretch?
Honestly, I mean, you're going to throw the old BS flag on this maybe. But the one that's tomorrow. I mean, that's just the way I think. I don't, I think maybe my assistants maybe start thinking ahead to games, and I know they probably look at going to Cali as a game that's marked on the calendar. I think maybe even players sometimes will put little marks on the calendar on certain games, but I don't. There's a mark on the calendar for every game we play. I've just seen too many times where you take people for granted, you take opponents for granted, you come in, you're not ready to go, and this is college basketball. Every kid putting a Fort Scott jersey on Saturday has a scholarship to play basketball. Every kid putting a Fort Scott jersey on Saturday was probably the best player at their high school. Their coach is paid to coach their team, recruit their team, prepare their team to play. They've got assistant coaches. Every game is big, but I would say probably you talk about going over to Cali, probably when Independence comes here. Those are games that maybe our kids have on the calendar a little bit, although we try like heck to get them to just stay in the moment. I know our assistants, they probably look ahead a little bit too. But for me, it's just right now, it's Fort Scott, and when we get done playing Fort Scott, it'll be whoever we're playing after that, and I don't even know. I can't even tell you who we play Wednesday. I have no clue. I won't start preparing that until we get back Saturday night, and I'll spend most of the night Saturday night getting ready, and Sunday getting ready for that next game. But right now, Fort Scott's the one that I'm nervous about.
All right, that's understandable. coming down once again, getting ahead of ourselves, but that's what I always do. You're looking at a number one seed and that highest seed and having some home games in that first, session, I guess, the first tournament of the postseason. Does it make a difference to you? Do you prefer home games in that? Do you not like to go on the road? Is it just a little bit easier on your team? Is it something that you're really eyeing as a goal? It's to get that home game.
Well, we definitely like to play at home. There's no question. We like to play on the road too. But I think in the postseason, anytime you can get home court advantage, it's big. And I know our teams here. If you look at our home record from about February 1st on, we've been very, very difficult to beat. And the way we played in the postseason last year at home, we got on a little roll, and we beat an LSU Eunice team that was honestly probably legitimately top 8 in the country after seeing, going to the national tournament and seeing what was at the national tournament. LSU Eunice was legitimately a top 8 team in the country. I think we beat them by about 50. And we got on a roll, and that can happen a little bit when you get to host your postseason tournament. That's always the possibility. You see it all the time in some of those low major Division I conferences where somebody's hosting and they make a run to the NCAA tournament or whatever.
Yeah,
They've tried to eliminate a lot of that stuff. I know the NCAA has, but
Gonzaga lived off of that for years.
Yeah, but no, we're excited to be hosting. What's going to happen is we're going to get a first round bye on Tuesday, March 4th, I think it's the date, or 5th, or 6th, maybe even the 6th, and then we'll play Friday and hopefully Friday and Saturday here on the 9th and 10th for a chance to go to the national tournament. So it's very exciting to the idea of playing those games at home. It's definitely an advantage, and it's an advantage we plan to utilize.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, any advantage helps. You guys are tough at home, on the road, and keeping that number one ranking has been something that I can tell you guys aren't going to give up easily. Coming down the stretch with these last couple of teams, your team is playing well. You said you're prepared for every game. Now, something I haven't asked you before, as far as your coaching staff, you really don't talk about the coaching staff as much, and I think we should give them a little shine. How do they help prepare every game, and how vital are they to a season like this where you guys are number one in the nation?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the thing that everybody has to understand is our number one job. You don't have teams like this if you didn't go out and recruit good players. And so the recruiting is the number one thing that we all are constantly working on. Coach Ewing is on the road 2-3 nights a week. Coach Strong is local every Friday, Tuesday night, watching kids play. Even Coach Skockle, with the recruiting, he's not doing a ton of recruiting. But for example, if I need to go to Wichita on a Tuesday night, if I get in that car after practice at 3 and try to get down to Wichita for a 6 o'clock game, it's a struggle because I'm not sure what it is, but that time of day, if I'm in a moving vehicle, I have a hard time staying awake. and so Doug is he'll drive down, and I'll get to take a little nap and rest on the way down there, and so the recruiting is the first thing, and we all have a role in that. Coach Jarris, Coach Jarris has got a couple kids that he's kind of been assigned to keep tabs on and stay on top of. And like this year's class is going to be big. The group we're bringing in is going to be big. We're going to sign a bunch of kids, so we kind of share that. As far as preparation and game to game, I'm still at a point in my career, and I've got enough energy, and I'm probably a little bit obsessive compulsive about our preparation, and so I'm still doing most of the scouting reports. But Coach Jarris is by the end of the year. I think he's done one, and he's going to do a couple more here. I've shared a little bit of that. And Coach is doing it, and he's kind of been by my side here for 2 years and seen how I like to scout and prepare our team. And he knows kind of the format. Coach Skockle takes every game, and the next night after a game, he will go through every offensive possession and chart a couple different stats that we keep. Everybody's got a role, and that's the beautiful thing about being here in the city is I've got a couple guys that are around, kind of volunteer assistants that come in, and if you're in a small town somewhere, you're not going to have those people at your disposal, people that want to come in and be a part of it. So I got a great staff. I'm really, really lucky. You talk about Coach Strong, and Coach G, and Coach Jarris, and Coach Skockle. They're four just very knowledgeable. They all bring something to the table. So they all have kind of something unique. It's a very good staff, and they're guys that I trust. They're guys that I really feel good about around our players. They've got all the right motives. They want to help players. They want to help our program. They love our program. They love the school, so it's definitely a team thing. And then there's a lot of other people besides our staff that have a lot to do with this too. We've got front office people that work up in the front office. We've got administrators. We've got facility people. We've got there's just a lot of behind the scenes people that you can't have a good program. We've got managers that help us out and come in and help get practice ready. Scout team guys you mentioned are guys that play against our girls. So you don't do this with one or two people pulling all the strings and doing everything. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm kind of a little bit of like a CEO a little bit. You know, I'm kind of in charge of all kinds of things that different people are doing, and if those people aren't doing those things well, we're going to suffer.
Yeah.
And so it's a heck of an undertaking, and there's a lot of people that can really be proud of what we've done.
Yeah, that's something I always noticed, how you guys work so hard kind of behind the scenes, and it's interesting to get that point of view of how many things go into making a team this successful. I mean, like you said, administrators, staff workers, everyone is on your side. Everyone is trying to help, and it shows on game day, and it shows how well prepared your team can be, you know, on road games, how comfortable stuff can be, how planned out, and it just translates onto the court. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into that.
Kel, I'll tell you one other thing too that I didn't mention. There's people over here, you know, on campus that aren't really even involved with athletics. Like Casey Wallace is the ambassador, or in charge of the ambassadors, and they give the tours. And when we bring kids on campus, we go to Casey because she's a superstar. I mean, she does tours. She's got a great personality, makes people feel comfortable. You know, most of our recruits will go in and see Chris Downing or Melanie Roberts. They're the academic counselors that handle our players, and they're both really good. And so recruiting is about getting people in touch with all the special people on our campus. That's what it's all about. So when they leave our campus, they have a feeling of, you know, that this is a special place. There's a lot of special people, and you need charismatic people that really make people feel good. Mm-hmm. And Casey Wallace and the counselors and, you know, all those people are just phenomenal. And so they don't get any credit ever. But I'm going to tell you something. Our tours and our visits, all these kids every kid on our team that came on a visit here, every single one of them, Casey Wallace took on a campus tour. Every single one of them. Because I don't, you know, I've gotten so fond of her. Every time I like, Casey, yeah, I know you've got a meeting here and a meeting there and a meeting there, but you really got to find 30 minutes to take this kid on a tour. We got to have her. And Casey's she's always making it happen. So that's just another example of another person. Because if you can't get the kids here, if you can't recruit them here, you know, obviously if they're not here, they can't help you win, and you got to go to another player maybe that isn't as good. And so there's a lot of things that go into this. It's not just, we don't just throw the uniforms on and go out and play coach and play basketball team and win. There's a lot of moving parts to making this happen, all the way to the top, to the president of the school, to the vice president. You know, they give us the things we need to be successful. So it's something I'm pretty grateful for. Being here is, you know, we got a lot to be grateful here in Johnson County.
Yeah, definitely, and it's great to see it come to culmination on the court with a team this good. And I've been saying it every show, I'm looking for the national championship. You play for game to game. I could look ahead. Hey, you guys have the talent to do it. You guys are skilled enough and disciplined to do it, which is great. Our time is winding down. Thanks, Coach, for joining us. We'll be back every week. Make sure you guys tune in. Make sure you guys keep watching. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. You can catch us on the JCCC Athletic page, on their YouTube. Check their Twitter, Facebook out. You can check us out here at ecavradio.com. We'll broadcast every Friday at 3 p.m. You'll hear this show. Besides that, thank you guys for staying. Thanks, Coach, for coming.
Thank you.
All right.